So how many of you would like to release yourself from suffering? Raise your hand. So only asana we will do today. Raise it nicely, Why? Why you want release from suffering? That's my counter question. Why? You see? We all want release from suffering. We know we want release from suffering. But we don't know why. Do you have any reasons? Share. It's not just one-way conversation. You will help me. For peace. To move on. To use energy at the right place. Means what? You all already know that your energy is not going in the right place right now. Yes, all of us. Everybody is speaking for each other. To be joyful. Now my question is, why does everybody want peace and happiness? Why does the majority doesn't want sadness in their life? It's a logical question. Why is it? Why is it that everybody wants to breathe fresh air? You cannot say, oh, I don't want to breathe the air. I will just dip my head into the river and breathe from the water. No. Why does everybody want happiness only? Why does nobody want sadness? To feel good? But why do you want to feel good as opposed to not feel good? Because, now try to understand this. Why do we all want happiness? And not 5 minutes, 10 minutes of it. If I came here and I said, I can give you 15 minutes of happiness or 20 minutes of happiness. What will you take? Of course 20 minutes of happiness. There's no catch, There's no extra cost. Of course, it's all free. It's not like a cheap airline. You can ask for an extra meal without the air hostess looking at you like that. Why does everybody want happiness?
Because happiness is a true self.
Because it's our true nature. It's our true nature. Understand this. Suffering is not our true nature. Happiness, peace, a state of calm, a state of contentment is our true nature. And not just humans. You run with a stick behind a street dog, he will run away. He doesn't want suffering. You try to catch a small bird inside a cage, he will struggle. He doesn't want to suffer. So we all need to recognize that peace is our true nature. If peace is our true nature, where is yoga bringing us? Remember, what was our definition of yoga? Release from suffering means what? Generating means getting peace, finding peace, right? So if peace is our true nature, yoga is bringing us to ourself. Is it too technical? Did you understand what I just said? You want peace, yes or no? Yes. What is the goal of yoga? To give you peace, yes or no? Yes. Now you recognize that peace is your true nature, yes or no? So that means yoga is going to bring you to you. That's it. Simple. That's why I understand one thing. With yoga, you will not get anything from outside. Somebody went to Buddha and asked Buddha, what did you gain from enlightenment? He said, nothing. So then why did you do what you do? So Buddha said, I did not gain anything, but I lost everything that was stopping me from being the peace that I am. So yoga is a path that brings you to you, a better version of you. Is this clear? If it's not understood, you can ask. Because there will be many yoga teachers who can teach you how to bend, how to stretch, how to twist. Nothing wrong with that. But I am here to give you fundamental clarity of what yoga is. Once you understand that fundamental clarity, then you can go to whichever teacher or read whichever book, doesn't matter. It's like basically if you are hungry, doesn't matter what food you eat, you just need food. Imagine you are very hungry and you go somewhere and that person says, oh, I only have Italian food, I don't have Chinese food. You say, I don't care, just give me food. So remember, yoga is going to bring you back to yourself. Clear? Now let me ask you another question. A student of geography, you know geography? What does a student of geography study? Yeah, student of geography studies geography, of course, but what is the subject matter of study? He better study geography. Rocks and rivers and the mountains, right? What does a zoologist, a student of zoology study? Animals, birds. What does a botanist study? Plants. What does a student of yoga study? Look, a geography student is studying mountains out there, rivers out there, topography out there. A student of zoology studying cat and the rat and the mouse and the guinea pig and the rabbit and the dinosaur. A student of botany studying plants and shrubs and moss, planktons. What does a student of yoga study? What is the object of study? You understand? Object of study? An astronomy student studies outer space objects, comets and stars and quasars. What is the object of study of a student of yoga? Neighbor? Husband? Children? Just every morning the student of yoga looks out of the balcony and studies the traffic on the street. Yes? No. So a geography student looks outside at the mountain. A botany student looks outside at the plant. A zoology student looks outside at the animal. A yoga student looks where? Inside. A student of yoga has nothing to do with outside world. Let me be very, very clear about it. The object of study of a yoga student is himself or herself in all dimensions. So, as a student of yoga, what should be the focus of your study? Yourself, at the level of the body, at the level of the mind, at the level of the emotion, at the level of interaction, at the level of relation, at the level of breath, at the level of emotion, at the level of beliefs. Everything, all dimensions of you are under study as a student of yoga. Interesting, isn't it? So remember, the object of study of yoga is me. Why? Because I want peace. Of course. It's like you call pizza and the pizza is delivered to the wrong person. No. You ordered pizza, you are hungry, you are going to pay, so the better the pizza comes to you. Same way, I am suffering, I want peace, yoga will release me from suffering, yoga will bring me peace, so I study myself because my true nature is peace. It's all about you. This is another important point to remember. Yoga is all about you. Yoga is not about us. Because it is the you that makes us. You know, in this floor, there are 4 apartments. If every apartment takes care to see that the area in front of their door is clean, the whole corridor will be clean. If every driver on the road, every car driver on the road promises to be responsible driver, there will be no accidents. Same way, when a yogi understands himself, their participation in the world will be better. Why am I saying this is? Yoga is a path of self-study. You study yourself. Understood this? You know, when the Western philosophers started analyzing yogic books and scriptures in the late 17th century, 1700s, when they read the old books of yoga, they immediately concluded that yoga is very self-centered. Yoga is a very selfish philosophy. Yoga is not at all a selfish philosophy, but yoga says, before you try to improve the others, try to improve yourself first. If you are going to go and treat people who are sick, people who are ill, people who are infected, you better study and become a good doctor first. If you are going to save people drowning in the swimming pool, you better first learn to swim yourself. Because if you cannot swim, then you will not be able to help anyone else. In fact, you will jump out of compassion in the swimming pool to save somebody who is drowning, and you both will drown. Yoga is not a selfish philosophy. Yoga is a responsible philosophy. And that is why it is very, very important that the study of yoga includes yourself. And that's what we do. Why do we come to a yoga class and go on the mat and bend and twist in different ways? Why do we do it? In modern times, we were told that we do postures for fitness, for better health. No. Traditionally, people did the posture practice to understand their body more. Now imagine we have around 20 odd people here. Everybody will move differently in and out of the postures. Yes or no? Why? Because everybody's body is different. We look the same almost. We all have bones and muscles and a heart that beats and a mind that thinks. But there is something called as an individuality. That's why everything that we do in yoga is about getting to know ourselves better and better and better. That's why you will have many yoga teachers or people who have practiced yoga for some time. They will tell you, oh, 5 years ago, wow, my body was so stiff, my mind was so stiff, my breath was so stiff, my relationships were so stiff. Now I am a little less stiff. Still stiff, but less stiff. That is important. So the focus of attention in any yoga technique is inside. Why are we focusing inwardly? Because the peace is within me. That's why it's called inner peace. Yogis are not interested in outer peace. Why? Why are yogis not interested in outer peace or gaining outer peace? Because outer peace does not last. That's why people come to yoga class, to feel peaceful for that 1 hour. Yeah, and it's beautiful. It's beautiful. I've had so many students over years who come to the yoga class, and after the yoga class, they come and hold my hand. They say, thank you. This is the only hour in the week that I dedicate to myself. It's nice. It's beautiful. But yoga says, don't just keep it to 1 hour. You know why? Because that peace for which you come to the yoga class is within you 24/7, 365. It's like, it's an old yogic example, actually a story. It's like somebody was living like a very poor man because he was very poor. Whole family, they did not have anything to eat, nothing. For years he lived poorly. And one day he was sitting outside his house with a hand on the head, very, very tired and very, very stressed about what is going to happen to his family, his children, his wife, because he absolutely had no money, nobody was giving him a job. And then there was this self-realized saint walking in front of his house, and he saw him and he said, "What happened to you, gentlemen? Why are you sitting like this? You look so worried." He says, "I am really stressed about my life. I don't know what to do. I tried to get a job, nobody is giving me a job. I have 2 children to feed. They haven't had any food for last 2 days." So this holy man closes his eyes and laughs. And he says, "Oh fool, do you know that your great-grandfather has buried a treasure under the tree inside your house?" "What? Don't joke with me. I am in such a bad state and you feel like joking?" He says, "I am not joking. With my mystical powers, I can see that under the tree inside your house, your grandfather has buried a treasure. Go. I will wait here. Go, find out." So immediately rushes, he digs, and just under 5 feet he finds a whole big box of gold coins. So why is this story told? Is because this old man, out of his ignorance, lived like a poor person, suffering for years, when there was riches, prosperity right under his feet. And in our case, it's not even under our feet, it's within us. That's the logic of yoga. Yoga says, look at the source of peace. The source of peace is within you. Focus where it is. Is this clear? I am trying to make it as simple as possible. Because this can be made very complex. You can sit here for 2.5 hours, you can be impressed by my speech and say, "Wow, it was amazing, but I did not understand anything." "Oh, he was speaking in such a high language, amazing Sanskrit, amazing mantras." I don't teach yoga in its mystical sense. It means nothing to me. I teach yoga very, very practically, because that is the objective of yoga. Objective of yoga is not to fly 5 feet above and impress people. Objective of yoga is to reach out to each and every person who is suffering at their own level and wake them up, shake them and tell them, "Hey, you don't have to suffer anymore." Just like that holy man. The treasure is within you. Now my question to you is, do you all really believe that this treasure of peace and happiness is within you? I can say whatever. Do you believe it? If not, why? It happens sometimes. People say, impossible. If it was possible, look, there's so much suffering around us. Very true. Very true. And then when I say that there is a source of inner peace and happiness within you, it sounds like a fantasy. Wow. Something transcendental, which is out there. It's going to come from the heavens, bzzz, like this, and enter inside me from the top of my head and shake me like an electric shock. No. Nothing like this happens. The inner peace is right here, right now, with you. Not even outside of you. It's the closest to you. I am much farther than you. The person who is telling you about the peace within you is much farther away than the actual peace within you. But why can't we see it? For example, you live in a house with dark tinted windows, with the curtains drawn fully. You live in a house like that. If you live in a house like that, you will never know if it's morning, afternoon, evening, night. For you, it's the same. For you, the sun never shines. But does the sun really not shine? Or you choose to not open the windows? Am I speaking too metaphorically, or are you understanding it? Because if I say it clearly, it will be very sharp. Somewhere we choose to suffer. Somewhere we choose to suffer. Because we have all become comfortable in our suffering. And a little additional effort towards peace is too much effort. We all know this, no? Sometimes we stay in a job for 10 years, 15 years. We know our value in the job market is much, much higher. And we know if I resign from my job and apply for another job, I will definitely get a much better job. But then what we say? 15 years I am in the same company, forget it. I know I earn much less than my peers. Doesn't matter, now everybody knows me, I know what to do, forget it. But every time you see someone else getting 20% higher salary, 50% higher salary, suffering, you say, why him, why not me? But then again you say, forget it, life is okay. That's why yoga says, wake up. There's a beautiful book in yoga scripture. It says that there are 3 blessings. You understand blessing? There are 3 blessings. The first blessing is to be born as a human. Why? Because humans have the most strong power of decision making. Will means humans can choose. Will is strong as opposed to animals who live out of instinct and impulse. A tree cannot say, oh, I'm tired of living in this concrete jungle, and a tree doesn't walk to a nice island there. No, tree has to live there. Birds. A bird cannot say, oh, I'm tired of these buildings, I want to go to the forest. And no. Humans can. So what's the first blessing? That you are born as a human. So every morning when you wake up, I'm still human. The second blessing is human with spiritual interest. Mumukshatva it is called. Spiritual interest means what? There are many humans, but in their mind, their mindset is worse than animals. I'm not saying animals have bad mindset. There are many humans who just have the body of humans, but their whole tendencies are very animalistic, impulsive, instinctive. So what is the second blessing? Human with spiritual interest. I mean, look at you. Why are you sitting here and listening to me? Because you have some interest. Not some. You have real interest. So just humans is not enough. Human with spiritual interest. Spiritual means what? A human who really wants to understand himself or herself. Who am I? Why am I suffering? Why am I always stuck? How can I find a better life? Do you think about it in your day-to-day life? Or you're just too busy? I'm not saying spiritual questions like, who am I? What is the origin of universe? Not like that. How can I make myself better? How can I be less stressful? How can I manage my time? Do you have these questions? That itself has brought you here. Because remember, yoga is the oldest science of self-development. Before self-help books, we had yoga books. And if you want, I can give you one of the best self-help books ever written, the oldest self-help book ever written, Bhagavad Gita. But you need somebody to explain it to you. So, two blessings. What are they? Born as a human, and second blessing with the spiritual interest, means interest in self-improvement. What is the third? Human with spiritual interest who has found a teacher. So the third blessing is finding the right teacher who can bring you to yourself. Because being a human, being a spiritual human, and not finding a teacher is worse than being a non-spiritual person. You know, like in English there's a beautiful phrase, ignorance is bliss. So there are many people who are not really concerned about these deep topics about who am I and how can I improve myself. They just go with life. They are angry, they are guilty, they are happy, and then they are resentful. It doesn't matter to them. For them, that is life, and that's it. That's how life is for everybody, so I'm also okay. But you all are different. Otherwise, you would not be sitting here on a Thursday evening listening to somebody who you don't even know. So remember, born as a human with spiritual tendencies, and born as a human with spiritual tendencies and having found a teacher. Once you have these three blessings, that's it. Then the ball is in your court. Full responsibility. Then you cannot ask for, one more blessing please. Buy 3, get 1 free. No, only 3. And that's why, again in the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 6, verse number 5, Krishna says, first try to become your own friend. Now I am coming to the practicality of it. Try to become your own friend first. Because if you are your own enemy, you don't need enemies outside. In fact, External enemies are better to manage. Internal enemy. Do you know what is an inner enemy? Everybody says, yes, yes. So can you tell me how does the inner enemy manifest? Over self-criticism, self-doubt, self-depreciating behavior. You know what is self-depreciating behavior? Means always pull yourself down. Like somebody says, oh, you look so beautiful, I love your hair today. You say, oh, my hair, I haven't washed my hair for the last 10 days. Self-depreciate. Oh, you look so slim. Wow, are you working out? Me? Working out? Oh, no, I've put on 3 kilos. You see, many people do that. So many. It's become a habit. Why can't we just say, oh, yes, I'm working out. I'm really working hard on it. So thank you that you noticed. Why can't we say that? Not just that. In many traditions, if you say, hey, how are you? You cannot say, I'm good. You cannot. I've been in some countries, I will not name the countries, but in some countries that I travel, say, I'm good. Life is good. I'm very happy and content. Say, what? What? You're happy and content? What's that? You have to, in the social scene, you have to, very stressed at work. Then everybody is like, he's like us. Oh, I recently put on 5 kilos, I'm thinking of joining a gym, but just can't. I'm so busy at work, just can't go to the gym. That means he's a good person. Why? So remember, be your own friend first, because inside your head you are living with yourself. Outside you may be living with whoever, boyfriend, girlfriend, partner, husband, in-laws, doesn't matter. But inside your head, you are living with yourself. And again, I am not cooking up this. This is all perfectly documented in a 3,000-year-old yoga book, yoga scripture called Bhagavad Gita. Be your own friend first. Because if you become your own enemy, nobody can help you. So if you want to really come out of suffering mode, if you really want to find peace within, it starts by becoming friends with yourself. What does it mean, becoming friend with yourself? Acceptance of the not so nice parts of you. Self-critic, no? How many of you have a very, very vocal and active self-critic here? No, you can raise your hand, no problem. No, wow, no, amazing. Yeah, like sometimes the self-critic is really like, that voice inside your head always pulls you down. Sit with that voice. One day, just go for nice coffee. Imagine your friends calling you, like, hey, come out, hang out with us. No, I'm going on a date with myself. So you go, get nice 2 cups of coffee, and say, okay, let's talk now. Prasad, let's talk. Come out. Hello, knock, knock. Are you here yet? Reaching in 5 minutes? Okay. And talk. Become friend with yourself. If you don't do that, what's going to happen? Your mind is going to split into 2. And if your mind can split into 2, your mind can split into 100. Yes or no? If you can have 2 personalities inside your head, you can have 100 personalities also inside your head. Anything that can be broken can be broken into pieces. And if your mind is broken in pieces, there is no hope for peace.